Okay, so who is Alexandria and what exactly are they asking her? It's been a while, but I'm back with another album review. This time, we are reviewing the new Asking Alexandria album, Where Do We Go From Here? This is a follow-up to their 2021 album that kind of saw them take a step in the right direction, at least to me. I know that their 2020 album, Like a House on Fire, wasn't necessarily received well for using more pop elements, although I had fun with it. But their last release, I really thought they found their sound of what they can be now. You know, they're never going to go back to doing what they used to do early on in their careers, but at least with songs like Alone Again, you can get something out of it from both ends, from the old fans to the new fans. And with this record, it kind of mixes a lot of the old stuff in with what they do well with the new stuff. It's almost like Fall Out Boy's record that came out this year. They kind of did the pre-hiatus stuff and the post-hiatus stuff, mixed it together, and created a pretty solid record, a record that they needed to make. And with this one, it's definitely a solid listen most of the way through. The only two songs I found myself not really liking was Things Could Be Different and Let the Dead Take Me. I don't know, I feel like especially with Let the Dead Take Me, that's where a lot of those more pop-leaning elements come in, and it's just like, I guess maybe it's fun, but that's about all I'll give it. And then when we get to songs that I kind of thought were okay, these weren't necessarily top tier on the record, but they had some merit to them. We have Psycho. This was one of the singles I heard before the album, and I said, nah, kind of gets carried by the single. Other than that, it's nothing too special. Kill It With Fire is a weird song because it's only about a minute long, and the way it just goes, it starts out in like this punk kind of drum fill, and then the riffs are all very punk. But then Danny Worsnop, who does return to screaming vocals on this record, is just screaming his way through saying, "Kill it with fire," and it's just kind of like, I mean, I guess it works as some sort of interlude, but as a song in itself, I'll say this, the mixing is bad, especially when it comes to the vocals on this short track. And then we have Holding On to Something More. I don't know, this one just didn't resonate with me as much as the others. Again, I think it's the chorus that mostly carries it. Other than that, it's pretty generic and nothing too interesting. Which leaves the rest of the songs we didn't mention as my favorite, Bad Blood. I feel like it's the perfect kickoff because it's so chaotic and it basically shows you what the album is going to entail as you listen on. It's just all over the place, but in a good way. It gives you the pop elements, it gives you the metalcore elements, and it gives you the, alternative side of the band that they have kind of been doing since their self-titled days. Then we have Dark Void, which was, again, I think the first single that was released for this record. This is kind of where they tease like, we're returning to the heavy, which I guess wasn't necessarily a lie, but, they kind of teased fans with the way Danny was just screaming at the beginning to kind of just, turning it into, it's okay, so it's like this melodic metalcore anthem. I get it. Let Go is also a very, very nice song. Then we get into probably my favorite song on the album, Nothing Left. This has to be the perfect one. It mixes everything you like from the band together very flawlessly, and I don't know, it just, listening to it a couple of times, it really was the one that I think stuck with me the most because it just hit. And when a song just hits like that, you know that it's the best on the record, and Nothing Left could be a fan favorite. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually made this one into a single at some time. Feel is also a very, very nice song, and then the title track to close it out, Where Do We Go From Here, of course, is more mellow. You're not going to get anything heavy here. It's just Danny Worsnop and acoustic guitar and some of the band toward the end. It frankly finishes everything off very nicely, considering, again, this is the oddball song on the record, because everything else is so cohesive and has that set rock sound. But then we get here, and it's just kind of like, okay, we're mellowing out, so it's time to, get ready to hear the end of the album. And I think just overall, from start to finish, it just takes you in a bunch of different directions. And when it gets interesting, it becomes very good, but there are times on this record where I feel like it's too overproduced, or maybe they could have done more here, and that's probably my main gripe with this thing. Other than that, I feel like it is a strong follow-up to their previous record, and I feel like if they keep sticking with this direction, things can only get more interesting, as I feel like there's stuff on here that their older fans would definitely get into, while again still attracting that new fan base and keeping the fans who are also maybe not necessarily a fan of the fully heavy stuff, but will still get down with, the alternative rock side of them. It's an album for pretty much everybody, and I can definitely say that it is nice and was more surprising. However, I will say it was a step down from See What's on the Inside. This one I'm giving a 7 out of 10, and maybe it'll grow on me even more as we move on with the rest of the year. We'll see how some of these other songs play out. Maybe the rating will go up, but for now, it's a nice record, and yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it overall. You can tell me in the comments below what do you think, but until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.